Hi, and welcome to another episode of the all-new TTown 411 report. I'm your host, Darren McKinstry. We're here live at McKinstry Banquet Hall, located at 5480 Jug Factory Road here in Tuscaloosa, where it's a special place for special people for all special occasions. We're also broadcasting live on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV. Mike, tell them about Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV.
Sure thing, Daryl. To get up with us on the radio side of Soundbooth Radio, just go to your iOS or your Google Play Store, download the Live 365 app. Once you download that app, just type in the search bar Soundbooth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with us on the radio side of Soundbooth Radio. To check us out on the video side, just go to YouTube or your Facebook Live and type in Soundbooth Radio 106.1. That'll take you to the video side of Soundbooth Radio.
Well, Mike, we're broadcasting live also on YouTube tonight on your YouTube TV channel and on Facebook Live, on your Facebook Live. What we're going to do, I guess we'll give people an opportunity to come on the program. We started about a minute early, so that way we wanted to make sure people knew we had our guests in the audience with us. And what we'll do, we'll just go ahead and start doing our commercial break. Well, let me make the announcement about what's coming. On March the 30th, this coming Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the McDonald Hughes Center, the NAACP, the Tuscaloosa branch, is hosting a community job fair. That's Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the McDonald Hughes Center. There will be a community job fair that's taking place right there at the McDonald Hughes Center here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we want to take the time and thank our local branch of the NAACP for hosting this upcoming event that they're holding to get people jobs. So from my understanding, they will be hiring on the spot. Want to go ahead and talk about a brand new restaurant that's been open right here in Tuscaloosa. Jerling's Diner right here in Tuscaloosa. Mr. D.D. Watson opened up a brand new restaurant right there in West Tuscaloosa on Peanut Hill, right across from the old 61 Club. If you remember where that was, you can go by there, and their slogan is "Where family is everything." Where family is everything. 2117 25th Avenue, right here in 26th Avenue. I'm sorry, right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Go by, check them out. They have a great menu. So go by and check out my good friend, Mr. D.D. Watson, over there at Jerling's. We got Veronica Taylor providing us with the COVID update. As always, thank you, Veronica. DCH Health System internal count as of 4:07 p.m. on March the 24th. There are 5 or fewer inpatients with DCH systems who are positive for COVID-19. 5 or fewer inpatients positive for COVID-19 being treated in ICU, and 5 or fewer inpatients positive for COVID-19 that are on ventilators. As of right now, they're not reporting how many is vaccinated or unvaccinated or not fully vaccinated. But we want to thank all of you all for doing what it takes to get COVID almost out of here. But right now, as we always do, we say a prayer for our people. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to share information amongst our community, amongst our family and friends. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for your grace and mercy. Right now, we ask that you continue to watch over the doctors and nurses and all the essential workers at the hospital. Heavenly Father, we ask that you go to the nursing home, can look over our elderly, continue to watch over them, Heavenly Father. We're asking that you go into the hospital right now. We're asking for a healing hand for those right now that's sick right now, Heavenly Father. Right now, we ask that you continue to watch over our governmental operations, watch over our teachers, our police officers, our firemen, all our public safety workers, Heavenly Father. We ask that you continue to watch over our family, all of us that's tuning in right now. We want to say a special prayer for Mr. Harrison Taylor, our guest tonight, and his family. Continue to look over them. Heavenly Father, in your Son Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with our guests, and we'll get back on there. Go ahead and share this. Let people know we're about to be on the program with our guest, former council president of the city of Tuscaloosa, Mr. Harrison Taylor, will be on the program with us, and he's in the studio with us right here at McKinstry Banquet Hall. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
A cool night in April is about to get hot as Dave's Crimson Bar, Baby Bruce, and DJ J present an evening with a Vail Hollywood. Vail Hollywood, live up close.
As soon as I walked in the building, I seen the baddest chick I ever seen in my life.
Sunday, April 10th, 6 p.m. at Dave's Crimson Bar on James Harrison Parkway in Tuscaloosa.
And she told me this, she said, is you 25 and up? And do you do grown folks stuff? Yeah.
A Vail Hollywood doing all his hits, including 25 and up. Oh! And drinking again.
Oh, baby, girl, you got me drinking over you.
Get your tickets now at Dave's Crimson Bar or see Baby Bruce and DJ Cham. For info, call 205-454-1290. A Vail Hollywood. Sunday, April 10th, 6 p.m. at Dave's Crimson Bar. Be there.
I'm Paula Foster Cadell, executive producer of Save the Date 2000 XX, along with co-producers Sound Booth Radio and Television 106.1. We are bringing you April the 6th, Save the Date 2000 XX, the virtual online live dating game show. This show will be having one person choosing from three other people that they can't see. Sure, you may have said, I've seen that back in the day, but not like this. We have live and local talent along with this show. And we also have Sheena Jordan of Beloved Body Fitness and Buck Dollar, president of Big Boy Entertainment, as hosts. These two together is going to bring you something spectacular. Along again with the live and local talent that we're bringing, this is going to be something new to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So come on over to Save the Date 2000 XX. April the 6th is going to be the debut of our first show. If you would like to be a contestant on the show, just email us at savethe2000xx@gmail.com or give us a call, 205-887-5026.
Are you ready for this?
For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, L.J. Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.
We're back. We want to thank you all for going by. Make sure you go by and support our sponsors of this program each and every week. We want to thank all our sponsors: Thomas Barbecue, Woodrow and Archibald, New Generation Barbershop, Thomas Barbecue, Catfish Heaven, Dave's Crimson Bar with the upcoming event that they're having. All the sponsors of this program, please go by and sponsor them. As I promised, in the studio with me here, in the office with me here at McKinstry Banquet Hall is our council president, Mr. Harrison Taylor, who was previous to council president of the Tuscaloosa City Council. And we're going to let him tell a little bit about himself before we get talking about the Benjamin Barnes Branch YMCA.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Daryl, and your co-host. And thank the listening audience. And hope we can get a lot of things done. My name is Harrison Taylor. They used to call me Harrison Mailman Taylor. And I was in the uh, civil rights movement back in when I was 17 years old. The Bloody Tuesday episode, we was there that beautiful day. But things change. And I always think about what Dinah Washington, one from Tuscaloosa, wrote a song called What a Difference a Day Makes. Mm-hmm. When after that, with a powerful leader, Reverend T.Y. Rogers, on that Bloody Tuesday, the next day, things started changing in Tuscaloosa. And we had sit-ins and changed the sit-ins at Crescent and Woodworth. We could sit down and have a sandwich there. Then I come on and I went to Druid High School, the Mighty Dragons. And from Druid, I went into the service and come back and one of the first 4 post mailmans in West Alabama. And from there, I had 34 years of service. And as a mailman, 24 years on the city council. And I thank all the voters who voted for me and supported me over the years. 24 years, 12 years as council president. So had a good run. And thank you all for supporting me over the years. And still, I come here tonight because I'm concerned about what's going on in our city. And where we are divided, we got to come together. And I hope you talk to me, give me some input of what you think and your ideas, and let's just discuss it. We're not going to be mad at one another, going to fuss, but we're going to talk about this thing. It's so important to our community. One of the institutions we have is Stillman College and the YMCA and the Hughes Center in our churches, in our community. So this is very important. The YMCA, so many people come through the YMCA. It's an old saying is, how can one mother take care of 5 children? 5 children can't take care of one mother. How can one YMCA take care of all of us? And all of us can't take care of the Y. So we want to talk about that tonight. And hope we leave here with some understanding. Just so far, just been one-sided information going out. A lot of times, no information going out. So we want to say everything that I can think of and know of. I don't know everything. It's like a lady put on that newspaper. She said, slightly used encyclopedia set for sale. No longer needed. I got a husband know everything. So I don't know everything, but let's get it started right now. Thank you.
Mike, you there? Go ahead, Mike.
Councilman Harris, we were talking off the air, and one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, how everything kind of went down Tuesday it seemed so rushed, and can you kind of explain in your experience how that proceeding should have gone, how the whole entire proceeding should have gone?
Thank you for that question. And it was from the get-go. They said it was on the Public Safety Committee. I never heard of that before. In all my 24 years on the council, I never heard that before. It's supposed to go to project or property committee. From there, it's passed to go into finance to how you're going to pay for it. I never heard of project going on from there going to public safety. And you think that's going to, all the rest of the city going to put up with that? No. It's such a quick thing. It had it on the agenda in the Public Safety Committee, and then now, that night, the council supposed to vote on it. Most of the time, it should go, once it's out of proper committee, next week it go on the agenda for people to come out and talk about it and whatever before they vote on it. That was the new one to me. After 24 years, that was all new to me.
Okay, before I move on to the next question, hey, Daryl, it's like we having a couple of freeze up on the broadcast. I got Q Counter on the line. She wanted to chime in, I think.
Okay, let her go ahead.
I didn't want to chime in. I just want to let y'all know on our end it's going in and out before y'all got too further deep into discussion. Just wanted to let y'all know.
Okay, Daryl, we're going in and out is what they're saying.
Hello, Miss Q.
Hey, Mr. Taylor, how are you?
Everything's good, and thank you for all you are doing and saying out there. Hope it make a difference.
Yes, sir. I'll see you soon.
Q, I hopefully it's a
Bye.
little bit better. I hope. I'm not sure what it is tonight, of course. Hopefully it's a little bit better.
I'm gonna go back out and I'll see.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Um, Another thing that I was concerned about, and this is probably like the second time I've heard this for the last two big votes that they've had. It is they kind of talking like they was I would say some of the city councils are talking like they know better than everybody who has voted them in office, and we should just sit back and let them lead us the way they want to lead us. In your time on the city council, have you ever had that type of mentality, or did you know if anybody had that type of mentality?
That's a great question, man. Why they didn't call a community meeting where we could discuss this thing and get an idea of what's going on. They come in there and gave us a plan. Only one drawing is from one piece of property. If you had 4 pieces of properties in sight to look at, you should have 4 different drawings how the building's going to sit on each one of them. But no, they only got one, and they passed it. And half of Tuscaloosa, and especially West End, don't know anything about it. So yes, sir. I mean, it shouldn't have been done that way. It should have been announced, had a public community meeting, and so heard from our constituents what they want, not what somebody want to give us. And we shouldn't be able to accept that what somebody want to give us instead of what we want. You trying to say somebody know better than us in our own neighborhood? No, that don't work.
So, in your opinion, do you think is there anything else that can be done? Because they voted before they even heard from anybody that might would have came up there to say anything from the city, from that District 1 or District 2. Uh, so it's pretty much a done deal based on how they want to do things.
Well,
Is there anything we can do about
Well,
that?
it's take 4 votes from the council to pass it, like it took of a night to table it. And I'm thinking we should table it till we discuss this thing and look at it, look at the pros and cons from everywhere. What advantage? My question been asked and ever since. What advantages going to the Hughes Center? Tell me the advantage of it. Nobody told me anything yet. We need parking is down there is limited. The handicap parking for senior citizens and those who are handicapped is very limited. When the tornado the safe room is being used, people park over across the street in Fairview neighborhoods. You know, that shouldn't have to be. What you gonna do? Build a new building behind an old building? What? Tell me some advantages that going to the Hughes Center will help us.
Right now, we want to know what. Right now, we really want to know what the people want, and that's what the question I think the council people should have done. They had this, and I use the word steering committee, and what I mean by that, when they want a certain thing to go a certain way, they steer it that way. So you pick the committee that you wanted, and you got the answer that you wanted from the architect that you wanted, and you almost got the vote to go the way you wanted it. So the vote didn't go the way it was expected to go. Uh, I think it came out of committee meetings. So Mike, it actually hadn't passed, but it made it out of committee. So out of the committee of public safety committee, which is Raven Howard Williams, Cassius Lanier, and I'm not sure who the other person that's on that committee. I want to say Bugsby. I'm not really sure, but it passed, and it was up for a vote for the full council. And when the vote started, Matthew voted no, Raven voted yes, Norman Crow voted no, and at that point, the council president Kip Turner stopped the vote because there was 2 no's already. So it was a possibility that it could have not made it out of the full council. But I think by them taking taking a chance and tabling it and giving the people an opportunity to come back out, especially with the weather the way it was. It was threatening tornado warning. Matter of fact, right after the meeting, it was a tornado warning went in effect. So
absolutely. Actually, right during the meeting, actually.
Absolutely. So right now, we want to know where the people want the barn. I mean, let your council people know, or the mayor, whoever, call and say, hey, I think the Benjamin Barnes Branch YMCA location where it is perfect, right where it is. The same thing okay, some of the cons that they were talking about. And I went to the site yesterday myself. I went to the site over at the McDonald Hughes Center where they talking about setting the Barnes Branch YMCA. There's 137 parking spaces right now. If you take that square footage of a building, 4,500 square foot from my understanding, and set it in that parking lot, you finna lose about 75 of those parking spaces. Well, I seen in the drawing they talking about building more parking spaces behind. They're gonna take out one of the ball fields and put in parking spaces. What sense would that make? We need the ball fields. It's being used. It ain't like the ball fields ain't being used. So you're gonna take out the T-ball and put in parking spaces. When they asked the question about the indoor pool, no one really said an indoor pool was going. No one said an indoor pool was going to be included in this particular thing. They say later acquisition of property, but those people on Ash Street don't want to sell their houses. They building new habitat houses. I mean, what are they going to do? The phone is open. Call 205-310-6067 or 205-826-7661. Let's hear from the people. Councilman Cecilia Lau say she loved you. They love you.
Thank you, baby. I love you too. But you know, just what you said about the indoor pool. You know, we have an indoor pool now where Benjamin Barn is now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're really going to build an indoor pool and downtown don't have a pool? Downtown don't have a gymnasium? And they're going to put 2 gymnasiums on one lot. The safe room has a gymnasium in it. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And you think they're going to put another gymnasium for the Y? Let's be smarter than that, people. Just think. We need to call our council representatives, need to call the mayor's office, let them know. We want to know more about this. Table this thing, and let's work on hear from the citizens. Have a public meeting, a community public meeting, and let's talk about this thing.
Councilman Harris, I was talking to somebody. I have a young person that works with me over here at Sound Booth. He and a couple of his friends, and they range from the ages of I think 16 to like 20, saying that no one's even asking the youth what they want and need pertaining to the Barnes Branch YMCA. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the city council would come out better if they would even try to include some of the young people who, as they are the ones who are going to be using the facility the most?
They use it more than anybody, so they should have an input. They should listen to their ideas and what they kind of want. It'll make sense. Then the senior citizen use it a whole lot. What about them? What about parking? Like you're saying, parking is very limited, and handicapped parking is very, very limited.
12.
So, what are we gonna do with that? We need to hear from everybody, but especially the young people. You know, we already took away after school program. We had feeding over 350, 400 people a day down there during the summer program. And we had some people had jobs for the summer. Now that's been cut out, taken away from us. Now what's next?
This is my taking. How the fuck they take anything away? See, give me about 30 minutes for me to be home. I'm finna hop on it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear who.
That was somebody you had on the phone, Mike?
It was. I couldn't understand him though. Hello. He dropped out, Mike. Okay. Mello, go ahead on and talk to Councilman Taylor.
Go ahead, Carmelo. We got you. We hear you.
I don't know. I guess he dropped out too. Okay. Well, I actually had a question. I forgot what it was just that quick. Go ahead, Daryl, so I can refocus.
Well, I'm just reading some of the comments. Q Channel say, I don't think it's a done deal. There was really only 3 members who seemed to be ready to move forward. Veronica said, which is a pass. Why? And Patricia said, why not just let it stay where it is? Tawana Harris said, I especially would love to see an indoor pool. So listening to the architect the other day, he was more or less talking about the kitchens was already at the McDonald Hughes Center. The ball fields was already there. So what exactly are we going to spend $9.5 million on, though? I mean, 2 basketball courts and an erected building and some parking spaces?
Think about it. Just think about that. When I first elected, I went to McDonald Hughes Center was a little old box. Had a lobby, had an office, one small conference room, and a gymnasium.
Mm-hmm.
And we was able to go for over the years to put it where it is now.
Yes, sir.
And we fought for it because I went before the council and told them that's going to be our country club. Weddings, receptions, family reunions, class reunions, and it served us and served us well.
Mm-hmm.
It can continue to serve us. But why it's got to be a recreation center and we have a senior citizen program now, one of the best senior citizen programs in the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And why we can continue to use the Hughes Center as our country club. Class reunion, wedding reception, and so forth. You listeners know how important that is to our community.
We got a call on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Daryl. Hey, Daryl, my turn. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, you go ahead, Caroline. You hold 1 second.
Okay. Now, the YMCA, my grandboys, I have 9.5 grandboys, all boys, and they play ball over at the Y, when ball season is open. So if they take out one of the fields, that means that we might have to run from one side of town to the other side of town to see the boys play. When all the little boys play there at one time, one after another. And I don't think it's right. I don't like the idea at all. Like I say, you're just gonna give us what you want us to have, and nobody really asked us what we wanted. We don't want the Y at the McDonald Hughes Center. I know I don't.
Okay.
I can't speak for anybody else, but I know I don't because it'll be too jam packed. We have, like you say, the parking. It's going to take out 70% of the parking. Sometimes we don't have enough parking in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I know we're not going to have enough parking. And when they're talking about putting it in the back where one of the fields are, well, I mean, like, who want to do that? You're taking away from our kids, not giving to our kids.
Well, according to the drawing, they're talking about building a building right in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the parking lot where Ash Street runs right beside it, and the dome is right in front of it. So just imagine walking out the storm shelter and looking to your right, where that parking space is, and taking out that for the Barnes Rent YMCA.
For a building, yeah. And I heard y'all say something about a pool. Now I go to Maccabee now. I have to go to Maccabee now for, to swim and therapeutic and stuff. They're not going to give us what the other people have. They're not going to do that because you already see that they're trying to make us go to one little spot. They're trying to decide for us. Don't let them decide for you, people. Decide for yourself. You know you do not want this. You don't have to stand for what they're giving us. We know what we want. Say what you want. That would be too small. And they're not going to give us a pool. They're not going to do that. And like I said, they're taking a ball field. which means they're taking from my kids. They're not giving anything.
Thank you, ma'am. You're right on it. The indoor pool we have is at Finland Park, but the thing about it is, Dr. Samara Pruitt have a summer program for swimming where they teach people to swim, our kids to swim. And they really love it. I mean, it'd be packed out every summer. So what are they gonna do if they move them to the Hughes Center? How are they gonna get to the swimming pool to learn how to swim? A lot of them, those who swim, go there and enjoy swimming. So with like you were saying, Miss, build a Y behind and where the ball field, and then tear the old Y down and redo that. Just think about the advantages at the Y. You have an indoor pool. You got a playground right across the street where they go at every day. You got a building where the old library used to be for after school studying. And then, so what all this going to take place at? Tell me one advantage. Tell me one advantage that the Hughes Center going to offer us that we don't have now. We just want a new building where we can go over. That building was built in 59 or 60, 61, somewhere along there. It's time for us to get a new building.
It's time for a new building. And let me ask you this. This is the question that I don't know if anybody asked. Since they're trying to just jam pack us at the Hughes Center. Is somebody else interested in the land that the Y is on?
There's a question that everybody has been asking here as of late, because it seems as though they're doing their best to try to get everybody out of that particular building. We're trying to, and they actually used the word in the council meeting, repurposing the building. And we like, what are you going to repurpose the building to be? For what?
Exactly.
You can't fix it up for what it's supposed to be, the Barnes Branch YMCA. But with that being said, about 15 years ago, they repurposed completely the old Tuscaloosa Middle School, Middle School, and made it the City Board of Education.
Exactly.
When I went to that school years ago, it was old and pieces was falling out the auditorium, and they wouldn't spend a lot of money to repurpose it. So to do things that they want to do, they can do.
Exactly. They have the funds to do that. Why not tear down that old building and give us a new building? And like he said, the library is right next door. Give us, get that and everything. We don't want to go to a new location, because if they shove us in the new location, they're taking away from us. They're not giving us anything. They're not. They're not giving us anything.
You can hold on, Caroline. We got another young lady on the phone. Go ahead, young lady.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
We do.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
This is Hugh Chandler, and I'm not going to touch on too many things, but I do want to highlight some important things to know. And it's about 40 or 50 people listening on Facebook Live. Hello. And I also want to just put it out there that our elected officials work for us. And I want y'all to remember that. We don't work for them. They work for us. The other thing I want to point out, there was a West Tuscaloosa study that was put in place. We spent billions and billions of dollars on that study. And the Benjamin Barnes YMCA was a part of that plan. But nobody is talking about that. So I really want to encourage y'all, if you're listening, to go back on the city's website and pull all that information. Knowledge is key. So it's important. These things have already been put in place, but sometimes we don't really know, because they talk so fast and they use so many campaign strategies, and they're probably listening tonight, and that's great because we want y'all to hear from us. The second thing, anyone knows that anytime you have a plan and you have all these drawings, you have to know what's going to take place in said buildings or organizations. That should be a part of the plan. Where is it? So how can you form an opinion, come up with architect and drawings, and you don't even know what types of programs are going to be held? That's concerning for me, and it should be concerning from an elected official. The third thing, I encourage everybody to go back and look at the history. Yeah, we love sports. We know that, the YMCA saved so many people. But go back to 1954. And so many men and women came together to raise money for the YMCA, not just for sports, but other things that take place in the YMCA. So when they want to holler about, oh, we need a field and we need that and we want this and yada, 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 it's so much bigger than that. The city of Tuscaloosa spent millions and millions of dollars to buy Tuscaloosa News Building. They find the money to do what they want to do for certain projects. Why spend pennies for West Tuscaloosa? And we got to keep that on the front part of our brain. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to understand that.
You're absolutely right. $8 million.
I'll be back Tuesday with facts and data and information because that's who I am. But I want y'all to really, really pay attention. That's all I got.
And don't forget the BMW building right down the corner of Greensboro and 35th Street too. They purchased that property supposedly for a new fire department that it still look like the BMW building to me.
Miss Q, you're so right. Just think about this now. What a new YMCA would do for that community where it is now. It'll uplift the community and people start fixing houses and remodeling things. So I just really think it'll bring our community back right there. You think about it. Now I want the people to think about it. While they talk about packing districts, don't you think we packing Martin Luther King, but everything has to go on Martin Luther King Boulevard? The two main streets is 15 and Martin Luther King. So they take care of them, or what they're going to be at the rest of the community. Everything not going on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Just think about it. The schools, Mark Wallace Center, the Hughes Center, Shelton. So we want to put them throughout our community, throughout the district.
Yeah. Mr. Reverend Wilson asked a question. I don't know if y'all were listening in pre-council about a traffic study and different types of studies that normally take place, when you have projects, and nobody could answer that. Mm-hmm. The consultant or whoever the guy was, he did briefly just say, "Oh yeah, well, we didn't do a traffic study." Well, it needs to happen, and if they don't do one, I'm doing one. I'm pulling information just to see how much foot traffic we have, the census, just the children that are in our communities, how far they would have to walk and how busy the roads and intersections are. That's important. But when you have people fast talking and trying to act like you're not keeping up, y'all have to pay attention. And I want y'all to understand there are people fighting in the background and taking ridicule for our community, and we don't mind because that's what we do.
Well, they're going to divide us every time. In it's important or strong issues we're concerned, they divide us, divide our community, and that they have us. So we need. That's why I'm here tonight for trying to get us all on one page and work together. To call our representatives. The representatives represent us. They're supposed to vote the way we want to be voted. They was talking about asking about how long it's going to take to build a YMCA, and council person in District 2 said, they said, "Can you guarantee us?" She said, "No, the city don't guarantee, and I'm not going to guarantee." Well, that's not true. When Mercedes-Benz make it to come to Tuscaloosa, the city guaranteed them they will do water lines and sewer lines and throughout. Now, that's a guarantee. Now, what? So, if you don't know, those who don't know would say, and those who say don't know. So you got to look at that. Just says something just to say something it's not right for our community. You can't lie to your constituents.
Well, we do have someone else on the phone.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question. What was their rationale for placing it, for wanting to place it at the McDonald Hughes Center? I mean, and what about, well, I said one question, what about parking and why were the other locations eliminated?
Okay. Now listening to the committee meeting, they had 5 locations: Stillman Heights, the Pecan Orchard across from Stillman College, the present location, the McDonald Hughes Center, and right across the street on Dragon Lane, which is part of the school parking lot. From my understanding, the committee sent in they vote or where they thought it should be, and from my understanding, it was said and done that it was chosen the McDonald Hughes Center. Now, when the presentations were done, there were pros and cons, and you can go to Tuscaloosa.com. They do have all this information on there relating to the pros and cons of the different areas. But when it came down to the present location, it was said that there's 99 parking spaces available now. Well, if you build, I think everybody is in agreement that if you take away the ball field right now, okay, we're utilizing the McDonald Hughes ball field, so we approve of that. I don't think nobody's mad about, okay, you're gonna do away with the field, but at the same time, you're taking away a ball field from the McDonald Hughes Center location.
Exactly.
So
And that's permanent.
and that's
We're talking
permanent.
about just temporary.
Yes.
At the 18th Street
Location.
Yeah.
So parking was one of the issues for safety. The pecan orchard was demolition was an issue also. If they, in other words, if they move it down to the McDonald Hughes Center, they just gonna let it sit there and become an old building. I'm assuming they ain't saying anything about tearing it down or demolishing it. So to solve that whole problem, they should demolition the whole building and rebuild. That's just. I mean, let's just.
Actually, I think to keep it in the same place, that was one of the cons.
Yes.
To keep it in the same place was the demolition was gonna cost too much.
Well, it cost money to tear down the one downtown, but it was done.
They did it.
They sure did.
They did it. They sure did. They did it. And the reason, let me say this: the reason I said something about the ball field is because, like I say, I have grandboys. I have no girls whatsoever, and they come over there and they see other African American young children playing ball. You know, we have nothing to do with the city whatsoever as far as staying there or going to school there. None of my kids go to the city. Everybody we got go to the county. You know, but I bring the boys over so they can mingle with the other kids and this, that, and the other. You know, they could play ball at, I guess it's Sokol Park or whatever, or this, that, and the other, or at the other churches or this, for the that season. But I bring them over so they can mingle with other kids like them. You know, and then if they don't have the age group over there at the Y, then my kids won't be able to go over there to mingle with kids their age. They're gonna be over here in the county, over in Northport, playing with those children. You feel what I'm saying? They're gonna be missing out.
Yeah, I understand. I did the same thing.
I know it's more to that. I know it's more to than just playing ball or this. You know, the academics and this, that, and the other. The boys are doing great in school, but I want them to be able to, see other kids their age and play with other kids their age, and just like them.
We got Mr. McDowell on the line.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Hey, good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how y'all doing up there tonight, panel?
Hey, what's going on, Johnny?
Hey, y'all doing a good job. Keep up the good work. Keep it up. Couple things that I want to mention. I volunteered this fall to coach basketball at the YMCA. And the league didn't have enough coaches to volunteer. to come out and help coach these kids, mentor these kids. And that's a shame. Everybody's calling in about the YMCA not being moved, this or that or whatever. But how many people are actually volunteering their time to go up there to the YMCA and help out with that place? That place is, I don't agree with them going to the Hughes Town. I'm from the YMCA. And I'll do whatever I can to help that place stay where it needs to be. But one thing, well, the reason why I'm saying this is because everybody's calling in about the moving of the place. The infrastructure of the YMCA is worse than what people actually know because you're not in there every day. That place at the YMCA downtown, at the Benjamin Barnes YMCA, does not even have a sports director. They don't even have a sports director. So, what is that telling us? First of all, what needs to be going on is we need a plan for the Y after it stays where it's going to stay in the new building. We need a plan for infrastructure on who's going to run the Y, who's going to run the sports program, who's going to run the day-to-day operation, who's going to run the out-school program. All of that stuff needs to be talked about and being in place now. Because the YMCA, right now, the basketball league, all those kids that participated in that basketball league, $75 for a non-member, $50 for a non-member. You know what them kids got at the end of the basketball season when the season was over? They didn't get nothing. Not a banquet, not a trophy, nothing. If the coach didn't thank them or did something for them, they didn't get nothing at all. At all. Everybody that's calling in, that's supporting the YMCA, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to go volunteer at the Y. Go volunteer at the Y for something. Go volunteer at the Y for something. I did an interview for the news back here in the fall before the basketball season started. And one of the things that I talked about in my interview was, because it's in such disarray, if everybody that came through the YMCA, everybody, if they just go back through to the YMCA and put in time with those kids and with the YMCA would be a better place than what it is right now today.
You're so right. I can't argue with you. You're right.
What's going on also, this is my opinion. They see a crack in the foundation at the Y. So they trying to come in through that crack and take over. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, but because the infrastructure is not good at the Y on a day-to-day basis. The YMCA doesn't even have baseball. They don't even have baseball. How is it that the YMCA don't have baseball? When was do anybody know when was the last time the YMCA had baseball at the YMCA? But all our African American kids are playing baseball.
Well,
and they're going to Para to play baseball.
No, they combined the league. They combined the league last year because I was one of the coaches, Johnny.
Okay, but Darryl, why did they combine the league though?
Because what happened was the YMCA had their league and Para actually invaded the area to start a baseball team, and so you started seeing a split in the amount of kids participating. So what happened was, to eliminate fees for the parents and everybody else, they joined forces. Councilwoman McKinstry and Councilwoman Phyllis Odom, they donated $20,000, and Alabama One donated $10,000 or $20,000. So they made it possible that the league could take place where all the kids could play free. The uniforms were free. it turned out great, and I want to give Deion Washington and Rodney Pelt credit on making that happen also, along with some other people. But though they made it happen, that the league wasn't split and that they could all join together, and it was over 140 kids this year. I think the same ideas on the platform, along with Northport joining in our schedule too. So it's beginning to work. It's yeah, we need coaches. Yeah, I can say that we're gonna need some more coaches. But
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the baseball, Darren.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
And that's fine. A lot of people, we need you to come and help coach some of the baseball. If you can't coach, join in on an assistant coach. That's what I did. But it looked like I'm about to be a coach this year, and it just we just need. And you're right. Don't get me wrong. We need more men to step up and do what we haven't been doing as men to make sure that our young men and young women are participating in these sports activities that the Y have to offer.
That's great. Now, I'll tell you one thing. You talking about we encourage the men to come out. We might need to run advertise in the newspaper, on radio, and send a letter to each church in our community about coming out. To men come out and help out. So we got some things to do for get out there and alarm and make things get good information to our people to know we need you. We want you and we need your help. Cause so many come through the YMCA and they need to pay back. You give back after you get up and get out. That's what I was saying about how can one YMCA take on so many of us and we can't take care of the Y. That don't make sense.
That's right. That don't make sense. That don't make sense.
You're right.
It don't make sense.
Well, I say that the West Side, District 1 and District 2, plenty big enough to have two facilities. So they can keep McDonald Hughes Center and do everything. The one thing that I'm saying is going to happen if they merge McDonald Hughes Center and the Lawrence Branch YMCA. And Councilman Wilson spoke about this in the pre-council meeting. It's duplication of services. And when it was asked, could nobody tell them what services were going to be offered at the Barnes Branch YMCA? You were able to go and you were able to have drawings and talk about rectangular fields and AstroTurf and the price of AstroTurf, and we don't have to spend that much money on the building, but you don't even know what programs you're going to have in the building.
We got another call.
That don't make much sense to me.
That don't make much sense either. And I think that also goes hand in hand with there's no infrastructure inside the YMCA right now to talk up on stuff like that. I'm not at those meetings. I'm pretty sure we're not at those meetings, but whoever was at those meetings before they even get public, those questions should be asked then. They should be asked then. And then when they get to the public, like you said, when that question is asked at the public to everybody, then they should be able to have an answer for it. That's just my opinion. And I'm like I said, just volunteering up there this fall with those kids and watching that infrastructure up there at the YMCA. I mean, it's just they need infrastructure, and they need a plan on post old YMCA, new YMCA. Who's gonna run it? What's the plan? What's the budget? What we gonna do? How we gonna run it? Who's gonna run it? We need all that in place right now, because what I'm telling y'all right now, from what I've seen, that's not in place right now. Miss Smith is doing a hell of a job by herself up there right now, but she needs help. She don't have nobody running her sports program up there right now at all.
What you're saying is so right, but right now, let's not get divided on this thing. We are talking about a new Y. Then we talk about employers going into Y. I agree with you. We need programs, but right now, let's not get divided because all people are so quick to be divided. We want a new YMCA, and then we'll talk about the infrastructure you're talking about. We want a new, people in there. So I agree with you 100%.
I'm not dividing. Mr. Lemon. I just want everybody to understand that we still need a plan going forth when we got the brand new Y.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. You right on it. But I'm saying because everybody should feel bad. Women's and men's about not participating in getting the Y where it should be. You're right. And thank you for your call.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
You too. Thank
Thanks,
you.
sir.
All right.
So if we are able to, I don't know. I guess I'm still trying to figure out part of the reason why they want to move everything over there, and they're gonna give us a new building, and that's the whole entire. That's the major thing that they keep talking about. We're gonna give you a new building. That's what we've been asking for years. But it seems like they're gonna give us, the bare minimum of a building. And I think we talked about it, Daryl. It's gonna look something similar, in our opinion, gonna look something similar to the Dollar General over there in West End with a couple of shrubs up front. And that's not gonna be a $10 million facility. It seems to me like they plan on spending more money on the outside than they are on the actual building. So what about all the programs that you're supposed to have inside the building? So you're not getting anything else from the new location you're speaking of. But if you go to the current location, Daryl spoke up in the meeting, and how you explain it, Daryl? If you use the current building and buy that house on the corner, and
it's the block that the current location is sitting on now. You have the Lutheran Church on the corner. You have Coach Fraser. A lot of you might still remember Coach Fraser that used to teach school. His house, that's right there. And then you got the library. And then on the back side of it, of the ball field, I think you got 2 more houses, maybe 3. I say just, I'm certain if you make a generous offer to all those 5 tenants, they could have the whole block. That whole block from uh, 18th Street to 26th Avenue to 19th Street. So that whole block could be everything that everyone wants in a facility, for as parking, for as the size of the facility. You can still go up, you can go out. It just make some sacrifices, putting a limit. $10 million is a lot of money, true enough. So if it costs $10 million today, it's gonna probably cost $12 million tomorrow.
well, and if I'm not mistaken, in the pre-council meeting, I kept hearing Councilman Lanier say that it's going to be the first stage, and the first stage is only $5 million. So they're not even planning on spending the whole $10 million on the first stage.
Now that I got to go back and hear. Now I don't recall that portion of it. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that part. Where they was talking about, I think 5 million was being used for something else. I did. That's how I got 500,000, because it's 9.5 million is what was left over or something. So what the other 500,000 was for, I don't recall correctly. But I will go back and listen to that portion of it. But Councilman Lanier said he don't care if they build it in the middle of 15th Street. And by saying that, we all agree we need a new building. And the location is where I think I'm asking, where do people want it? Where do the people want it? Do you want it at the McDonald Hughes Center, or do you want it at the current location? And that's what I say. Suggest bring this to the table to the people. That last Tuesday was not a good night. It was a dangerous night. We had a tornado warning, a tornado watch, and a warning to go in effect during that meeting right then and there.
Well, we still need a public meeting in our community.
Yes, sir.
Let the people come out and express their yes or no, or give us some suggestions and ideas what they want. That's what our representatives on the council should be doing, bringing us together in a community meeting and talk about this thing.
Let me ask you this: in your opinion, should Congressman should Councilperson Wilson have these plans considering how the Barnes branch is in his district?
He should have been on. I asked that question. Why wasn't he on the committee? I did ask that question there at City Council. He should have been a part of that. If they were making this big of a decision, Councilman Matthew Wilson should have been a part of that committee.
Should have been chairman. You're so right. You're so right. Those are the questions we need to ask. Are they taking us for granted and doing what they want to do, and they change the rules as they play the game? They want to do it nowhere else in other communities, in other districts.
You know, and if you go back and listen to the podcast where Councilman Raven Howard Williams and the mayor speak, she used the term "I." This has been a fight I has been taking on. This has been a move that I been taking on to try to make it happen. I as one person.
She said that several times in the podcast and in the pre-council also.
So I think I shouldn't have to make a decision for everybody. We got another caller. Go ahead, Veronica.
Hey, Darren. Hey, Mike. Hey, Councilman Taylor. How are you all tonight? And Councilman Taylor, I just want to tell you the old saying that I'm sure your parents told you, because y'all told us you don't miss your water till the well runs dry. So everybody that was so eager and anxious to get a new representative, this is that's there. So I'm gonna tell you the water's being missed.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Because the well is just dry.
Thank you, ma'am. You just think about this.
Tell you that.
Think about this. We had a man that spent over $30,000 to defeat me. That's the largest individual contribution to in a campaign. Think about it now. You think he spent $30,000 because he was concerned about West End, or was he concerned about himself? Think about that now.
And they got a person that's in there that's sitting there saying, one crazy pass on the back. Never really even attended meetings. And then when people tend and question them, she has the audacity and the nerve to get a smart mouth. Now, my thing is, the people that are calling in now, we talk on this show every week, and we love people calling in. But I'm glad that, Mr. Taylor, that you talked to the other man, because a couple of people called in the other day. Don't redirect the conversation. The point is, some people are busted and disgusted, and sometimes people don't go to a building that you don't know what's floating around in the air. A lot of people aren't willing to go over there and work in their building. It's not that they don't want to volunteer. We have to look at the reasons people aren't volunteering a lot of the time. And the thing about it is, since the city has acquired it, like Q said, the city buys and does whatever they want to buy and do in every other district until it comes to District 1 and 2. And now it's becoming 7. So they do and buy whatever they want to, as long as it's it's the majority minority. We the majority minority, but we can't get what we want. And it's just like you said, if they can tear down, it's just like the United States do. They can tear down the country and put millions of dollars to build it up, but don't want to get folks off the streets from home in homes. They can tear down everything else around here, do 1 cent tax for this, and that, and other. And the next time if we get on them hard enough, next thing you know, like I said too, it'll be, well, let's do a 1 cent tax then to get to why. It's always something when it comes to something in District 1, 2, and 7. And then they get to the point where the council people get weary and tired and just want to go along with the flow. But that is your job, is to get there and get all these grievances we have and fight what's best. You can't win every war, but you still can stand in the right place with the fight. So my thing is, a lot of people aren't going over there because, like they say, if they tear down this, it's all kinds of mandates and stuff. You let this stuff loose, ain't no telling what'll come up after why. Okay, a lot of people don't send their kids over there because of how old the building is. A lot of people don't want to work and volunteer. Everything ain't just outside. It offers other services. And then, like we said the other day, it was a slap in the face to say they don't offer services. Now, if you're saying that because you don't think anybody attends, it's because sometimes people don't want to be in an ugly building. It's just like when people say you eat with your eyes. If somebody brings you out a steak and a potato and it look like the dog that licked all over and stepped on it, you're not going to want to eat it. You're going to send it back. If you keep going to a building that looks like that, you're not going to keep going up in there knowing what you're inhaling, what you're around, what you're touching. They don't go over there and do it. If you can tear down and use means to tear down stuff everywhere else, why can't you do it there? Uplift 18th Street and the west side in that area.
Amen. You're right on it.
The truth of the matter is, when they decided that the Central Branch YMCA got to be too old, they went ahead, and I don't recall any meeting. I don't recall anything. It was just a done deal. They went and built phase one of the Central Branch YMCA in a whole new place. Once they got it open, they tore down the other one. The other one was a building that even had available rooms for rent. They don't have that at the Central Branch YMCA now, and that's probably some of their revenue that they was losing. Right. But we still going, like you said, the Barnes Branch YMCA been sitting there since '59.
It's 2022 now.
And they talking about the location doesn't matter, and and all this kind of stuff. People don't want to go to that building because how old it is. Like I said, you don't know what's there, but that all the other stuff about the volunteers and all that kind of stuff, we got to do one thing at a time right now before we start having this conversation. Nobody was really calling in and talking about it. So when you call in and start saying stuff like, well, we got to get people to do this, you start to redirect the conversation, and then that's exactly what they want because it gets completely off topic. And the topic is, it does not need to be at the McDonald Hughes Center. It's just like Daryl keeps saying, why put a Burger King in the parking lot of McDonald's? It needs a new building and it needs a better location. If you tear it down, why not tear it down and put it right back there and build up?
Well, we don't want to accept nothing but a new building. So, we're not talking about anything but new building at the 18th
Right,
Street.
that's what we're talking about.
And the thing is, Harrison, you may during the council meeting, you told it like it was when you say you can pay a person $100 and some $1,000 to do anything you want to do, to draw up plans. That's exactly what they did. Raven came on later talking about everybody. She had the YMCA director on board, this and that. I don't think that YMCA or the Barnes is on board with this. It's the Central Branch that's calling the shots along the Y. Let me say this. Now, it was a plan from the get-go. They never put it, me and Harrison, we sat on the board together at the YMCA. We fought like dogs. Harrison got the gym put on. I'm sorry, the weight room put on. They came and gave us old equipment and they bought new equipment. But it was a plan from the jump when Walt bought out, paid for help, bought out the YMCA when he bailed them out. I'll put it that way. When he bailed the downtown Y out. Then he said, let's throw in the bonds. See, this is the problem. This is the hoodwinking that's going on. This was the plan. Throw the bonds in. All right. So right now, what I believe they want is a activity center. The city want to rule recreation. The para don't want McDonald Hughes Center. They said we'll put the Y in there. But the thing about it is, the mayor lied through his teeth, and we're going to make him pay for it. He said he was going to build us a building for 9.5. And all of those organizations that sit up there and pull out that man's name on that ballot, told them black people to pay for it. He promised the black people a $9.5 million building. What we have, and I said before, you'll be lucky if you get two. And what that contractor group, I brought up this, and Veronica, I think you did too, or Q or somebody brought it up again. The thing about it, how in the hell can you build a building without knowing What's the need? What's the program? What kind of activity? That's all part of the groundwork. I coached at the thing along with Daryl and them and everybody else as a woman because the because men wouldn't stand up. So I did that. We had 3 fields, 114 kids there to play ball. Now in the drawing, then took away 1 field. What the hell they think? What do they think about the black children here? And what the black community did, you wasn't paying attention. The city bought that wide. The grounds was paid for, the building was paid for on the blood, sweat, and tears of Mr. Barnes and all the other black people who helped build that thing. But the thing about it is, what they're gonna do, they don't give a heck about these black kids, and they're gonna throw this crap up to us with 2 basketball courts. Then Raven sitting up there lying through her teeth like they're gonna get a pool. Then the consultant said with his mouth, I'm not gonna guarantee you a pool. They ain't got nowhere to put nothing. This is crazy, and I think right now we need to act on something. We really need to act on something because the thing about it is, Raven was in it 3 years ago. I heard it. Then Sonia McKinstry talked last week and kind of confirmed what I heard. She been on it for 3 years to take this Y and do whatever Walt Matters wants to do. And another thing that y'all did not notice. Now, when they went the pre-council meeting, they went before the safety committee, all right, to vote on the YMCA, the Barnes YMCA. That was the pre-council, right? You don't come back in the same day and have the full council vote on it in the same day. Walt pushed that. I believe Walt Matters pushed that. And he got caught with it, and he was surprised with it. He stuttered for a good 30 seconds before he could even talk about it. So my thing about it is, this is not going through because, let me tell you another thing. The committee that Raven chaired, they did not, the people that was on that committee, they did not get a chance to vote on the location. They sent some information over. This is how they hung with LaPerry called and said, hey, y'all email whatever, and we're going to get back with you, and you're going to vote on the site. They didn't do that. They skipped the whole thing. Next thing you know, Raven said, we got the site. We ain't having a vote. They didn't even take a vote. That's how they always work. That's how they seem to work with everything, especially when it comes to our district, our communities. But we let them do it. We keep letting them do it. And the thing, I just don't understand. It's like somebody said in the text, the things writing the other day when it was on there, said black people are too lazy for their own good. They're too lazy to stand up for their own good. And you know that's bad. We got this going on in the black community. Ain't nobody standing up. Nobody until it's all said and done with Johnny come lately. But this right here, this is not going to happen on Tuesday. I strongly believe. And some of the things, Ms. Martin, the transparency that he loves to pride himself on, there is no transparency. The transparency is him amongst his peers out there telling them and manipulating them like a puppet master. There is no transparency. A lot of the times, people feel like, y'all say we coming late, because a lot of the times, they don't know until it's about to be a done deal, and we start raising sand. But a lot of times, we've been talking about these things and trying to get people involved, but it takes it to be almost about to happen before people start really listening. Even some of us going out and saying it. I think some of them either they half and half. They say, well, he gonna do what he want to do anyway. But y'all keep doing it, he gonna do it, and they don't have input. If you feel like you ain't being heard, whether you young,
medium age, in between old, you still have to make yourself be heard, not just say, we're not going to be heard. You have to make yourself be heard. Now, the city do play their part in a lot of the things they don't make public. There should be public, like Mr. Taylor was saying. There should be public input. And when it comes to the YMCA, that's just like giving the answers to our questions. Of course, the public wants to know and wants to be in on it. You had people calling this week that didn't even know anything about that. You got some people like the young lady that's in the live chat didn't even know that the city owned that YMCA and asked me where you could get the information. It's there.
Did you hear? Let me. Did you hear all of the council members, the white council members, in the pre-council um, meeting say we took our stuff to the people. Whatever they were doing, I don't remember exactly, but 2 or 3 of them say, yeah, we talked to our people, we talked to our constituents. Raven is not doing anything. Raven needs to go.
Well, you think about it now. You know, we can't blame the mayor and the staff, city staff. We got to blame our representative. Now, you know, Raven is up there now, and she missed more meetings in 4 years than I missed in 24. If you're not at the table, you on the table being sliced up. That's what the old folks used to say. How can you get anything done if you're missing all those public meetings and finance meetings and council meetings? This is very important. That's when you voice something, tell them what you want or what you need. If you're not at the table, you're on the table being sliced up. That's not a lie. Missed more meetings in 4 years than I missed in 24. Now, how you going to be affected? That $30,000 is still working.
And have the nerve to get smart with people.
And on top of that, we are going to hold the mayor accountable. The mayor is throwing rocks and hiding his hand.
Well, who letting him do it?
No, ain't nobody letting him do it. He's running that show. He's telling these people what he wants and how he wants to work it, and they're going along with him instead of them, the Raven, instead of her talking up for her constituents. I don't know what she has planned down the road to make her turn her back on her people. But the mayor, nobody's letting the mayor do it. The mayor is throwing rocks behind his head. You know why? Because when the redistricting came up, he has the power. One of his jobs is, when the census counts, to do his little math and kind of guide people. He comes on Jimmy Lawson's show and say, "Hey, I'm not gonna. This is totally up to the council. My hands are not on it." Then 2 weeks later, he's in AL.com, February 23rd, saying the same crap that he gave Raven to read out. He said the exact same thing, but he ain't in it. That's what I'm saying. He throwing rocks and hiding hands. The same crap that he said, Raven said, and another man on Jimmy Lawson said. All 3 of them was in cahoots to spread the big lie.
But think about it now. My council representative said this, about the redistricting, and they was worried about if it go a new way, an old way like they had, it was okay. But if they change and go a new way, districts 6 or 7 might stay all white. Well, don't you think if that was the truth, it'd be 5 whites and 2 blacks again? Don't you think, why not one white council member voted for it? All the council members voted against that plan. And she made that statement, we got to be on board and we got to be alert and we got to call our representatives out. Then someone said, well, she voted her conscience and voted her convictions. Clarence Thomas do it all the time. He voted his conscience and conviction and made them do anything for the black community. No, Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court. On the Supreme Court. This man has destroyed our community and our institutions. And then they said, and she used that same mentality about my conscience and my conviction. Clarence Thomas said it all the time.
She read a statement. She didn't even know what in the hell she was talking about. She read it. This girl read something that was the most ignorant thing I ever heard. And the girl needs to go. When you're fighting against your own people, your own race, holding the rights of your people down, it's time for you to go. I mean, we ain't got but two up there now. Well, she's not a third black district. We don't have a two. And now she's in cahoots. 3 years ago, she stated, put the Y in at the barn. Then on top of that, Matthew is in District 1 where the YMCA, and he's nowhere to be found. Whether he was asked to be on the committee or whatever, he's nowhere to be found to fight for his district. That's totally wrong. If it was me in District 1, I'd be arguing to the cows. Excuse me, look, can I say something right quick? Just Xavier, Mike.
Go ahead, Zay.
All right, first of all, I just want to say, when it comes to, we can't always, as a community, as a black community, we can't keep blaming the mayor for everything if we vote him in. And for the council, same thing with the council. We knew what we were doing when we voted. And we can't keep saying they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Get them out of office. That's all we gotta do. Get them out of office. Vote somebody that you think gonna do their job. You can't blame everything. Like you can't blame the master for being the master. Well, let me say this. I understand what you're saying, and that sounds good. That sounds pretty good. But here's the deal: if you light that match to burn the house down, you did. If the mayor is doing what he's doing it. He takes some blame. If the council people are doing what they're doing, they take the blame. This ain't about that. We can get the mayor out right now with 30%. If we get 30% of the voters to sign off on a recall, we can get rid of him now. And as far as Raven, we can get a petition right now to go against her to try to get her out of it. Because this is ridiculous. You put a YMCA over there and a building. We're just not talking about a building. Everybody wants a new building for the YMCA. But the thing about it is it meeting the needs of the people it's going to serve. Man, these people haven't given us anything. That YMCA, what they're talking about in McDonald Hughes Center, is not going to meet the needs at all. And guess what? All of these people that's sitting up here hollering, yeah, we just want a new building. It's better than what it is. But what good is a new building if it's not meeting the needs of people? You still going to be crying. You still going to be crying. You got a shiny car, but the engine ain't no good. Nah, I'm 100% agree with you.
Hey, we got somebody else on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
Zay.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. Go ahead.
How about you?
Oh, okay. This is what I got to say about this. Somebody else in there, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is what I got to say about moving the wire down to the McDonald Hughes. I totally disagree with it. And I actually myself, I talked to Raven and tried to get her to change it. But we all know that Raven goes back and she say, I done this, I done that, and I. Now, I will say this, and I'm saying this. The all this drive-by shooting and stuff that we having over here on the west side, we had a west side, we can't get, when we go to talking about calling Raven, getting Raven to come out, she don't even come out and speak to the people on the west side in her area. So when they go down there and they had a drive-by shooting down at the McDonald Hughes and all that, when they put that stuff down there, she can go back and say, I killed all them people. That's what she needs to say. And, like I said, I totally disagree with Raven. Done talk to her. And I agree with everybody else. If we can get together and vote and get her out of office, I'm with that. And I heard the lady say the other day that if we take and spend our money over in Northport, Foster, Mississippi, and Birmingham, we can put a halt to this council because I think they're doing wrong. That's all I got to say.
Amen.
Y'all talking about I heard the lady who placed me now. Now I know some people gonna roll their eyes, but I want you to open your eyes. Don't roll them, open them. But about Timerson. Now, Linda Green, Miss Linda Green, somebody that I don't disagree with, she disagree with me, Miss Linda Green. But she's the reason that Timberson Liberty is being moved. She brought it to the city once a month or twice a month, all the time. Then the mayor and the legal department got together and was able to get this thing going. You know, at least just say give credit to somebody else. You can't At least give the credit to Miss Linda Green, because that's who did everything, the African of our community. That's who got that thing moved. But if you're going to take the credit for it, say Miss Linda Green, the mayor, and the legal department all helped, we work together to get it done. But like you were saying, But think about it, ladies and gentlemen. $30,000. Look what that could have did for our wild Stillman College. Because of diversity I was pushing for and fighting for. That's why he spent that money to get us. And our folks fell for the okie doke. He bought a few $1,000s in and gave it to a few of our people. And they fought to get me out of office. The president of the council, they voted in our district. And they voted me out and sent it back to the president back to District 3. How smart is that? Just think about it. How smart is that?
Yeah, I agree with you, Harrison. And the thing about it is, 8 people died with cancer over there near that area. The lady called on a radio talk show to talk to the mayor. The mayor tried to act like he ain't never heard of it. The woman held his feet to the fire. She said 8 people, because of that, that Timmerson died with cancer over there. And I just wonder how many people at Elizabeth Baptist Church have come down with cancer. I just wonder how many people. And here's the thing. Raven stopped the noise. I don't know. Somebody said the whole thing gonna be moved in April. And I heard another person say, who's in the know, they're not gonna move that place. But it took 8 people to die in order for the mayor, and that woman said she had been calling for years and talking to the mayor, and they gave her the runaround, and the mayor tried to play slick and slick talk that lady. That lady held his feet to the fire. And that's the only way Raven got involved.
Well, let's get
the mayor told us.
Let's get a mayor credit. Now, he in the legal department did take it up and run with it. But see, it was grandfathered in and all this, but we had to fight through the legal department, and it finally got something done. But our representative should at least give credit to what credit is due. You can't take all the credit, share it. But you're so right about it. I heard the same thing. Now, I've not been informed about being moved, but I heard some of it's going to be moved, the rest of it's going to stay there. But we're being told, it's going to be so teared all down, going to be so beautiful. Let's wait and see. I don't believe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't think they're going to tear it down and move it. They're making too much money right there. I think what they're going to move, and I'm going to put that in the county probably, where they crush them gas tanks when you hear that big boom with, in the gas tanks and things when they crush them. But other than that, let's wait and see what's going to happen. I don't believe it. But our representative is pushing that on us, telling us that, giving us false information. But if it's false, we'll see. If it's not false, we'll see.
That's my major thing, Councilman Harris. It seems like now most of the city council give us the information that they wanted to have, and it's not all the information at all. And when they do give it to us, it's with little to no time for us to voice our opinions on it.
Well,
that's not usually how it goes, right?
Right, but we got to blame our representatives. We got to ask them to have public meetings, and we shouldn't have to ask them though. They should have it anyway. And nobody said anything about diversity up there. That's what I can't understand. Diversity. Think about it. Not only me, but I had help from a fair-minded council, and the mayor helped us. When you bring things up, you got to bring it to the table. We had a police chief. We had a city clerk was black. We had the city clerk for this council was black. We had interns from Stillman was black. Walter Lewis with the Bonnet Nation was black. The judge was black. All of them now been replaced by whites, and nobody said nothing. How can you sit there and let that happen and nobody said nothing? Think about it.
Yeah, I think we having some problems with Facebook. Is niggas keep going in and out.
Yeah, I see what people saying that. I don't know if it's the amount of calls that we're getting sometime or what, but it's back on track, I think.
No, and you never know. Right, you got feedback on the phones. Or somebody got a TV or something up. Or something.
Okay. Let me take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back and see what's going on, okay?
Hey Rick, I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother? I went down to Thomas Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie. And I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. All I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I tried to see if I could hear everybody on the phone because it is blacking out.
You see the crazy thing?
Yeah.
Talk about Jim Lawson. They said, don't even bring up Jim Lawson now.
I drink till I'm drunk. Fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Pick I might as well hell. Drop the top and take a selfie.
A cool night in April is about to get hot as Dave's Crimson Vibe, Baby Bruce, and DJ Cher present an evening with a Vail Hollywood. Vail Hollywood, live up close.
As soon as I walked in the building, I seen the baddest chick I ever seen in my life.
Sunday, April 10th, 6 p.m. at Dave's Crimson Vibe on James Harrison Parkway in Tuscaloosa.
And she told me this, she said, is you 25 and up? And do you do grown folks stuff?
A Vail Hollywood doing all his hits, including 25 and up. Oh! And drinking again.
Oh, baby, girl, you got me drinking over you.
Get your tickets now at Dave's Crimson Bar or see Baby Bruce and DJ Cher. For info, call 205-454-1290. A Vail Hollywood, Sunday, April 10th, 6 p.m. at Dave's Crimson Bar. Be there.
I'm Paula Foster Cadell, executive producer of Save the Date 2000 XX, along with co-producers Sound Booth Radio and Television 106.1. We are bringing you April the 6th, Save the Date 2000 XX, the virtual online live dating game show. This show will be having one person choosing from 3 other people that they can't see. Sure, you may have said, I've seen that back in the day, but not like this. We have live and local talent along with this show. And we also have Sheena Jordan of Beloved Body Fitness and Buck Dollar, president of Big Boy Entertainment, as hosts. These 2 together is going to bring you something spectacular. Along again with the live and local talent that we're bringing, this is going to be something new to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So come on over to Save the Date 2000 XX. April the 6th is going to be the debut of our first show. If you would like to be a contestant on the show, just email us at savethe2000xx@gmail.com or give us a call, 205-887-5026.
Are you ready for this?
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, LJ Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.
Hi, and welcome back to the TTown 411 report. I'm your host, Darren McKinstry. We're here at McKinstry Banquet Hall. We're back live here. I'm sorry about I don't know what's going on with the internet. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi or what, but tonight we're having some echo. But once again, I think my destination of putting it on for is YouTube might have a little bit to do with it too. Jasmine Hall want to call in. Jasmine Hall, call in 205-826-7661. Jasmine is in Florida. She's the executive director of a youth program down in Florida, Gainesville, Florida. I'm going to get her to call in and talk to us about some of the programs she got going on there in Gainesville, Florida. We've had on the program with you. Want to say hello to Betty Hopkins, Boris Hurst. How you doing, sir? Thank you for chiming in. Linda Owens. I tell you what we need for sure, Councilman Taylor. We definitely need the dragons of all the classes. We need them to show up this Tuesday and let people know that, hey, the old sock hop location of the Benjamin Barnes Branch YMCA need to be built right back where it is right now. So we definitely want to ask that all the Druid Dragons, if you can, come out, class of 65 on up to 79 that I can remember.
Yeah. Talking about my class 65.
65, that's the year I was born. So that's all I can remember right now. But yeah, if we could get some of the all the classes of Druid High School to please come out this Tuesday night and voice your opinion about the Barnes Branch YMCA. And don't get me wrong, there's people that think it's a great idea to move. But what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? That's what we want to know. We want the people to make this decision.
Darryl, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that those people, and they might actually see it as a good thing. They might see advantages there. But I think that the majority of the people just want a brand new building. And the one thing, either Matthew Wilson was talking about legacy and tradition of where it is now. And you basically kind of taking all that stuff away, trying to move it to the McDonald Hughes Center, to which they responded, "Oh, we're gonna put the pictures up in the new building." So, is the reason why it was put where it was put, I think, was so that it can be a beacon in the community, in the neighborhood. So you taking it out of a neighborhood and putting it somewhere else. Well, it's not even about a distance thing, which is what they tried to say that we tried to make it about, because like they said, it's only a mile apart between the two of them. But even with that still being said, you had some people going to McDonald Hughes Center, and generally it was the older adults that went to McDonald Hughes Center, and you had the younger adults that went to the Barnes Branch YMCA.
And I think Councilman Fell need to understand that even though it's a mile apart, they both have their own purposes.
That's it.
Right.
And I think, and I don't think Councilman Phil probably hadn't been over in West End since he retired. And that's probably been 10 years, 15 years now. But he's familiar with it, with the location. But I think what we need to make sure, everybody need to understand that McDonald Hughes, Dr. McDonald Hughes Center was built for his legacy, to carry on his legacy of what he did for the student body and the people of West End at Druid High School. The Benjamin Barnes Branch YMCA is a legacy of his own, of Dr. Barnes and Miss Gray and all the other people that made it possible to have their very own YMCA. So we're not asking to combine our tradition and our heritage. We're asking to just upgrade one location to a new building. The programming and all of that is needed also. Yes, we agree. The coaching, the volunteers, the sports director, everything that goes along with it.
Why everybody got to have a historic district but us? When it comes to us, they tear it down. But they want to keep things a historic district. But when it comes to our community, they give us a few dollars, and we want to tear our stuff down. You know, Eugene Bull Connor said something in the 60s. He was talking about Reverend Shuttleworth and the Father. He said, if you want to destroy them, he said the N word, but I just said the black leaders and the black followers, all you got to do is give a few dollars to a loudmouth, head-scratching Alabama Negro, and he'll help you destroy its leaders and people every time. Think about that. That was in 1960. Today, it's still going on.
Sound like a Willie Lynch thing to me. But let me give you a clear view. The McDonald Hughes Center and the YMCA covers 28,000 people. District 1 and District 2, 28,000 people. That's what they serve. That many people. And that's what each district has. Divided by the census. Each district has 14,000 people that cover. It may go out a little bit more. But anyway, we're talking about 30,000 people. I'm sorry. Let me take that back down. At least 20,000 people. That's what those two recreation centers cover. So it's just ridiculous to be arguing and begging with people. I'm going to say it again. And I know you're tired of me. I don't think I gave Tuscaloosa any money last year. If I did, it was $20. Other than that, and I'm not lying. Do what if you need to. This is an economic boycott. It did it for Georgia when they didn't want, when Georgia voted down, didn't want to pass their voting rights and their Voting Rights Act, and everybody calling Coca-Cola, AT&T, and all these corporations pull out. And that's what we need to do here. It works, people. It works. All you got to do, nobody's saying do everything everywhere, because you cannot do it. But you can do, and if you got a Lowe's charge card and you need a wash and dry, go buy it in Northport. Go buy it in Northport. If you want the Jimmy Lawson special from Southeastern Meat, go to Cottondale. If you want Piggly Wigglies, go to Northport. If you want Publix, Winn-Dixie, go to Northport. They have the same thing. At some point,
Northport is Tuscaloosa.
There's Tuscaloosa? Okay. Go somewhere. 69 goes. I don't care where you go. But the point to this is cut down the money you're giving to the city, because they do not respect black people. They don't. Why in the world would you have Sokol, Maccabees, Ballard Park, all of these people, all of these recreation centers with all of these great things, and now they're going to add $9 million to one, $5 million to one. And on the west side of town, where all of these black kids are, You're gonna tell a lie like you're gonna build a $9.5 million building, then them hoodwink us with a $2 million structure, no base, 2 baseball fields and 2 basketball courts. Come on now, you got to be stuck on stupid black people for them to get away with this kind of crap. We want what we want. We want what same thing everybody else is getting. Our dollars count too. Hold your dollar. I'm telling you, hold your dollars. I guarantee you, they'll talk.
We got another call. We got another caller. Go ahead, caller.
We do have a caller. Yes. Go ahead, man.
Hey, Mr. Darrell, how you doing?
Hey.
I couldn't really hear what you were saying. It's Jackson.
Hey, Jazz. How you doing? I seen some of the comments you were mentioning about the YMCA when you was young, that it's in the same state, and I know you out down in Florida right now, so kind of share some information about programs y'all offer in Florida at your program.
Well, my program is completely different. It's not attached to the Y. It's not attached to the city. Our program is through the Department of Juvenile Justice, Juvenile Department of Juvenile Justice, and AMI Kids. And so I can't really speak, so to say, to what's going on at the Y. I think the only question I had, well, I had a few questions, but my main question would be, what would be the other location that you all want the Y to be located at?
Well, they had picked the Stillman Heights campus. They had the McDonald Hughes Center parking lot. They had the present location. Then they had the Pecan Orchard, which is right across from Stillman College. I don't know if you remember that location, right off of 15th Street. And they had the baseball field area next to Freeman, which they call in Dragon Lane. That's the baseball field area behind West Lawn. Now, what is West Lawn? I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Now, why those 5 particular areas were chosen? That was chosen by the committee of the people that was chosen on the committee. I think there's other areas that could have been looked at, for many other reasons. But I think it's just people wanted to just remain where it is, but at the same time, just go ahead and expand the whole block. Just do it that way or build backwards and up.
So build into what that baseball field was. My mind, do I? So build into what the baseball field is.
Talking about West Lawn Softball, the new West Lawn now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That was one of the choices of locations.
Okay.
But they were saying they had to get a school some property, that school property, city school property. So they had to trade property somewhere in some shape, form, or fashion. That was one of the pros and one of the cons.
Gotcha. I don't want people to get caught up in the location
with you and her work record on the council, being there, all of these things that she's voting yes to, she's never there. Her attendance is horrible, and on top of that, she does not vote the way her constituents said so. Now, that's my thing about it. Don't mean to hurt your feelings, Ms. Raymond.
Oh, no, my feelings aren't hurt. I have tough skin. Like I say, I'm right is right and wrong is wrong. Feelings aren't hurt. I take it for what it's worth. Hey, I'm an ED somewhere, so I get it. So I'll have a conversation with my best friend, perhaps about her disposition, and allow it to go from there. But again, you can't, or we can't, go to people and we nasty to them and talk to them any kind of way, and then we expect. I never talked to that woman in my life, and a lot of other people haven't talked to. So you've never spoken with her? How I'm gonna speak when she don't call back? Never. Mr. Darrell, can you get the number? What's your name, ma'am? Listen, I'm not going through that. I'm the kind of person, and I hear you, and I really appreciate you being sweet and all of that.
Let's get back on the issue.
Here's the deal. I'm not really big, and if I can go around them, across them, push them out of the way, and get to what I need to do. But I'm just telling you what I know, what I've seen and heard. That's all. And then her voting record on what she's voting for. And then if it was Obama, I would say the same thing about Obama. I voted for the mayor every year that he was in office except this last time because he did something that he hoodwinked in the black community. And I discovered that, and now that's that. I just hold everybody feet to the fire. Even if it was my kid, I would hold their feet to the fire the same way. So that's it.
Now, let us talk about something on the issue for time run out.
All right.
Okay. The mayor has done more for the black community than any mayor we ever had, but that's not the point. What I want to talk about is this. We got to let our representatives know they have said one thing about minorities working on the Y or working on the other issues, elevate Tuscaloosa. We want to make sure we got painters, concrete finishers, bricklayers, and all that. Make sure they're working, be a part of this thing going on. That's a lot of finances coming into our community. So we got to call our representatives and tell them. We got a program called Tuscaloosa Bill. That's from black contractors and subcontractors. They make a lot of money when they get a bid. Let's work on that also. So let's not do, this is the main thing here. Where's the location and who's going to do the work? Those are two things we got to take back.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Hey, what's going on, Dale?
Great.
I just wanted to come on and just kind of see. I hear a lot of outcry about the location of the YMCA, and that's cool. But like I said, I think I told Daryl that I told the people in pre-council, I don't care if we build a Y in the middle of 15th Street. At this point, I want a YMCA. Now, I grew up at the YMCA. My daddy had raised all our boys at the YMCA, his boys at the YMCA. Mr. Cunningham was my godfather. Son was the best friend, best man of my wedding. What? Here I am at this point, Daryl. I know before I even was in leadership for the city, officially, I always served the city of Tuscaloosa when I turned my life around. Even before then, I wasn't the worst person then. But what I'm telling you is, like, I heard a cry out from the entire community about we need a brand new Barnes Brand YMCA. I've seen the money that we could raise as a community. Like, and I ain't taking that from us, but I'm just saying we had to match $1 million. Well, that didn't pan out. And so now we got the money to get another YMCA. At one point, the people were even wanting it to move to Stillman College, and nobody was really in an uproar about that. I don't think I didn't care where we put the YMCA. Like, all I knew is we needed one, and we needed one bad. And the still remains. Now, when you in this seat and you trying to lead the people or help the people, because I'm just trying to do what I can do during my turn. But the fact remains there that I'm trying to understand wherever we put it at. I don't even have a problem with it being at the current location. See, that's me. We can put it at the Gulf State Pool. We can put it at Central West, but and I don't care if we put it at first I had a problem with it. But I got to the point with me sitting down and understanding, I feel like this. If we don't make a move soon, then we won't have a move to make. And so I thought as a people and a community that we just wanted a brand new YMCA to serve as the kids of West Alabama, no matter where it is. Because truth be told, we're dropping off, most of us dropping off our kids, and then kids walk all over the place. I'm talking about, but we should have a facility that we have also charter vehicles that can take kids home. And we need to search for funding and things of that nature, but we also need the community to be all inclusive. Not just see, my problem is with us, and I'm a fed, and I'm strong enough to take whatever comment or whatever they want. If they go to the poll next time, the time to vote me out, I'm fine with that too. But what I'm saying is, as a community, when it's time to raise hell and be in an uproar about something, we hear from everybody in the masses. But when it's time to serve these youth in Tuscaloosa, or everybody come in and pitch in and do their part, then the harvest is plenty, but the labor's are few. So what I'm saying is, I'm just so desperate to have a YMCA that I'm right at this point. I don't care where we put it, because I know for a fact that if we don't do nothing, and we put this off and say this. Say if we say, okay, let's build at the current location, which I have no problem with. I came up at that location. But what if we put it there? And then we have to acquire the surrounding property. We have the Lutheran church on the end. We have no idea if they want to sell. You know what I mean? But if they do want to sell, then the city, if somebody want to buy it, they can name their price. So that could be an issue. So that takes money. We don't know if the people who own those houses want to sell. And again, if we can get it, that's great too, because it remains in that location, serving that side of town, and that's cool with me as well. But here's the thing: if we go for that move there, and they say, well, we gotta go back and forth with trying with this acquisition of these properties, and then that delays this project. This thing could take 2 or 3 more years, maybe more than that. But again, the money that was there, where would that go? What would that do? Are we just gonna sit it down, or are we gonna start on another project? So what I'm saying, and I got a question to all the people out there: Are we willing to wait another 2 or 3 years for YMCA? Because what I want to see is something that's going to be tangible for the youth right now. And I believe that the YMCA would have programs at the Wazoo. I mean, not just athletic programs. I think Darryl was talking about earlier, but I believe it will be. I mean, I dream of the YMCA having piano programs, culinary arts programs, coding and computer programming programs, along with, because everybody don't want to play sports. I like. I think one time I heard this man talk about tennis court. I don't know if this was my tennis courts. Just soccer, any kind of thing. But my thing is, and I'm just speaking this to the black community, because that's who it really affects, our children and the people around us. What we have to do is find some kind of way to get on one accord, regardless of where the location is, and be okay with reasoning to say it's about those children right now. Because I'm gonna say this, and I mean it, and I'm saying this with real passion, and I ain't fronting, and I ain't making it up, because I come from the other side of the track. I'm from the west side of Tuscaloosa. I come from being on the wrong side at odds with the police, because I'm in the game and in the streets and things of that nature. And I know what it takes. Somebody had to pull me. Somebody had to
tapped me on the shoulder. Somebody at Mason Bonner had to come recruit me out of the project to go to school over there. See, Miss Cunningham had to come get me out of the block. I'm just telling you, these people did these things for me. So we got some kids out here right now who don't even have the same raising that we had. Not to take man from anybody, parent, but we grew up in a different time. But we in a detrimental time right now. The time we're living in right now, it's urgent that we do something. And so, location is not important to me as manifestation, as meaning getting something to put in each kid's hand. And what we can't do as a community is go crazy on one another till we can't, like, again, call me whatever you want to. But what I'm saying, we need to have a YMCA, and we need to have it now. Now, whatever we decide as a people, we need to get on one accord with that. But I'm just telling y'all, and I want to ask that question: are we willing, if we have to say, okay, let's buy this land? Because that's ideal if we could do it. Like, who would want to do that? I don't know. I don't know if the entire block can house everything we want for baseball and things of that nature. But if we get the whole block, it's got to be decent enough. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, are we willing to go through the legalities to acquire these properties, and the waiting for this project to finally take place? If it takes a while, people say, I don't want to sell. They say they want to sell, and it's a battle with that. Are we willing to wait? That's all I want to know there, because regardless or not, I want to have a YMCA, and I know just me sitting there, I know that we need to move and move soon as we can. So I just want to ask the people there, are they willing to put it out 2 or 3 years if we can't decide on, if we decide to go against the McDonald Hughes Center and we try to get those properties, are the people willing to wait? That's all I want to ask.
Councilman, I want to thank you first. Thank you first for serving. And but the only thing I'm saying, we still want it in a hurry. We can all the property we can't use, we can go up on the building. But we need to keep everybody else, like I've said before, have historic district. We tear ours down and don't never have a historic district. Why not keep it there and start tomorrow? We can start next week, trying to get the drawings up, going up, and start next week building the Y on 18th Street. And another thing, the next main thing is make sure Tuscaloosa Bill be a part of this building. That we got painters, contract finishers, electricians. Make sure they get in there and make some money off this thing, not just all one side. So those two things. But thank you so much for serving. And nobody's mad. Nobody gonna be calling you names. I'm not around me, but I'm just saying.
I already know that.
Yeah.
You family to me. That's why that's my thing. It's just like I think we all want the same thing. It's just like, but we don't, like we want to, like me, like I don't care. I'm not partial to one thing. Like, I'm just die hard on the Hughes Center, or I'm die hard on. I'm cool with it. I just know my passion is for the youth, because it's so easy for them to slip away. And I just know we in trouble, and we need to do something to put it in their hands.
Can I ask you something, Lip?
Go ahead.
I tell you, let me ask you this. Now, if you had one of the choices right there at Dragon Lane, and the only thing, I looked at the whole pre-council meeting and the council. Only objective they had for the consultant had for Dragon Lane is that crossing the street. Now we know we can close street down. That could be Plan B, because you got this old Druid had behind
the old West Line.
The old West Line. Plan B.
Well, the current West Line.
It's already been checked out.
That's a nice place to me. That's a good place.
That's the best place to do it. You can put your ball fields out there. You can put anything else you want out there. Your outdoor basketball court, because we need to release some energy from these kids. You kids ain't got nothing to do. Every city you go to, you got outdoor basketball court where kids can just walk up and cop a game.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Right.
so let's mention that. Let's go to that area. It's already there. It's flat land, like Daryl been talking about. Let's go there because we want the same thing these other people have. Give it to our kids.
Also, Cassidy, that as far as in all the other locations, it just seemed like they had their heart set on McDonald Hughes Center. And we just saying why you want to put both locations in the same spot. Right. The fact that you called in tonight speaks volumes. Because we would not get a phone call. Yes, sir. From other council members. When you come from up there and you were bred at the YMCA and come from where we come from, and Mr. Taylor, he can attest to that. I mean, like, I got a real passion for that. And this my side of town, like, so I really want to see it bubble. But I just know, I just don't want to miss a moment because things move so swiftly at that city. And, you got to be able to go ahead and, and like I said, we needed this conversation, and we need the community involvement. We need to hear from the community. I mean, it just this affects all of us, and it's. I mean, I'm telling you, it's that serious, and we gotta just get on it. But like I said, I just wanted to pose that question because I know how things go, and I don't want it slipping like that. That's why I was so passionate about it. That's why I care about it. And I believe everybody who's talking about it really, really care about this thing. They really want to see it happen. I think we all have the same goal in mind here. But right. The problem is, I think that the community feeling left out is what it is. Right. The community feeling left out. It's like no one was talking to their districts about anything that was going on. And then finally it was, we having a meeting. It was put on the agenda on Friday. And then, some pre-council, a pre-council vote on Tuesday during the storm. So it was like, a lot of people were, hey, why y'all trying to push this stuff? Well, see, that's why I asked the table. I said, we need to table this. I thought we were going to table this vote. That's why I didn't get as far as it was. I said, hold up, aren't we tabling this? I mean, and I said that, and because I just know it just got to be better than this. Like, I wasn't a part of a site selection committee. I wasn't a part of the YMCA board, so where they were selected, so that I just wasn't abreast on all that. So I had to make sure that I knew the ins and outs, and I'm still concerned. I want to make sure that whatever we ask for as far as the YMCA, we are able to get it. And so it's just a lot. It's a lot, but I have to come here because sometimes people don't know, what you do, why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's precisely why I said, Cash. It speaks volumes that you called in. Yes, sir. Because we can't understand what's going on in your mind unless you tell them. And everybody who's listening in tonight, if they have questions, they can call in. They can ask you these questions. Absolutely. But you're putting yourself out there to answer the questions, right? Just like Councilman Harris has decided to come in and do this show with us tonight. But we have other council members that will not call in, and they've been asked. Well, I just feel like it's our duty. We signed up for this, and whatever comes with it, we at least got to fade it. And I salute, Councilman Taylor for, being a leader like always. Daryl and you, Mike, for putting this platform out there because the people got to know, and the people deserve to know, and we need to find out what they want. I mean, it is what it is, man. And all I can do is just listen. And at the end of the day, we really need more community involvement when it comes to stuff like this. Right before, along the way, and then we got a responsibility to keep y'all involved. It is what it is, man.
Councilman, I want to thank you for coming on the show too. But I just want to do a little comparison, just like everybody else said. Listening to the architects and what they're interjecting is very similar. I mean, we got an indoor swimming pool right across the street from the Dragon Lane site. We don't want to take away from it, but they didn't guarantee us a swimming pool was going to go in at the McDonald Hughes Center location. The Dragon.
Well, I actually asked about it. I don't know if y'all seen pre-council. I actually asked.
Right.
Said, well, I asked the aquatic center was gonna be there as well. And see, and reason I said, okay, if you were set now, if this Hughes Center, if the Y going to the McDonald Hughes Center, and we could set up a synthetic football field, and a walking track, a nice walking track, trail, and have a huge sportsplex, like, or something that we're trying to get, or where we can host travel ball tournaments and AAU tournaments, and we can build more better parking situations to add something to that. Like, I mean, we really have to be specific with our request, man. Hey, I'm gonna have an issue also, but I want to add some kind of charter or some sort of transportation to school kids all on the west side, to and from. You know what I mean? Because I believe we find money, we can find money for that. But I just want to. My thing is, I just want to make sure that, you know, and I don't think I wouldn't have a problem with that being a new center if we work it like that and really make it a huge center for senior citizens, for youth, for all, you know. But again, I won't have a problem with it being where it is. But what I'm saying, I'm just so, you know, I'm nervous about us not being able to. If we don't have what we need, we won't get it. And then I'm also nervous about, you know, if we don't move soon, that will the money be reallocated? Because if we don't, you know, I'm just being honest with you. I'm just saying that's what I'm feeling like.
Mr. Lanier, hate to cut you off, but let me say this, and I'm sorry about cutting you off. The McDonald Hughes Center, if you look at that map, those renderings that they have drawn, and look at the boundaries, you don't have room. You don't have room for any kind of athletic, no ball fields, nothing. I vote right now, and I'm pleased at Druid at the Dragon Lane. Just move it across the street. That's my vote, and I think everybody else will vote. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you in mind. So there are the people, the listeners, would they have an issue with that though? Would they have?
No, they ain't gonna have no issue with it. It's right across the street. They're not gonna have an issue with it. We want a new building. We want to move. We got to move fast because of the bond. We don't want to lose money. I'm with you on that. It's going right across the street, people. You got your swimming pool right there. We're gonna close that half of that Dragon Lane so the kids can go straight across. We're gonna do that, and that's what we're going for. Just tell them that. Just put that in there. We're going with that. You know that McDonald Hughes Center don't have enough space to do anything. We're not going to have a sports complex there. Only thing going to be there is a Tuscaloosa activity center, and nothing for these black kids.
McDonald don't play, man. But yeah, man, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. I agree. I mean, I don't have a problem with that location either. I think let's say if we buying a car, when we financing the car and they tell us we can put rims in the financing, we're gonna go ahead and put the rims in the finance.
Absolutely.
So
I'm gonna help you put it on there.
There you go. And so at the same time, why are we gonna wait to get the swimming pool if it ain't gonna be included in the financing? Now we gotta go back and refinance. So all that. I'm like, let's do it all at one location, then and there, or just do what we can, man. But the kids is the most important. I'm with you. I'm with them wherever it's gonna be on that side. I just don't think it's a great location for us. I went over there I went to the school. I mean, McDonald Hughes Center parking lot myself. There's 137 invisible parking spaces over there right now, but I managed to figure them out. It's 137, and it's 13 handicapped parking spaces, man. Tell them to go there and put some paint on those parking spaces. But anyway, if you take away the area that they're talking about putting that building on near Ash Street End, you taking away 75 parking spaces right there. And I'm looking at 45,000 square feet, and technology don't play. You taking out a lot of parking spaces, and you taking out the T-ball baseball field just to recreate parking spaces. He ain't guaranteed we're gonna have that synthetic field. Now he say other acquisitions of property.
Right. He gonna buy the trailers, I guess.
So he ain't guaranteed we're gonna have that synthetic field. So I'm just saying, if we're gonna get the synthetic field, we might as well go and put it over there on Dragon Lane, and we can get the field, put the field there, the tennis court, the outside basketball court. It go from Dragon Lane all the way to Central Elementary.
Right. That's what we want, Lip. That's what we want.
All right, then. Well, the people have spoken, and that's what we need. We need to hear from the people. So
yeah.
All I know is he's the only one that'll call.
And thank you.
He's the only one that'll call. He and Matthew will call, and they'll respond whether it's their district or not, whether we always agree on things or not. He's gonna call, whether we like what he says or not, whether he likes what we say or not. He's gonna call. Each district should have somebody, because we don't always agree on everything. But what he does is that he comes to the table. Matthew comes to the table. And I know right now I'm speaking for Cassius because he's here tonight. But whether you agree or not, whether you agree or disagree, he's going to come, even if it's somebody else's district. And I will say that about both of our recent District 7 representatives. They came because it was about the community and the district and the community. And they always come even when it gets tough, even when it gets hard.
Right.
Whether you agree or not, that's what we're looking for. Who's going to communicate? Mm-hmm. And we just be wanting to know stuff ahead of time so we won't look like we always jumping in to make problems. We jump in when we know, because we be hearing rumblings. And so when you hearing rumblings and you start asking questions and you can't get anything, when we do get to talk to somebody, it's one of you two. And a lot of times, just like right now, a person is concerned with who's mad or who don't like them, honestly, because that person never calls in. We're not going to always get along. That's family. That's blood family. But you got to work through it. You got to have the conversations.
Right. Indeed, you're right about it. We got to have it. We owe y'all. And that's all most people want is some sort of conversation, some sort of letting us know what's going on before. Not a couple of days before, and then we trying to scuffle and get out there, and everybody like, well, they already pretty much made up their mind, and you start feeling discouraged, and you start thinking, what we here for? What's the purpose? Right.
But gentlemen, listen, I know we can talk. We did 3 hours the other night, and we.
Thank you, Councilman. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Good night.
Appreciate it, Ken.
Dragon Lane, baby.
Hey, we can't get split on this now. We can't get divided on this thing again. We got to stay together now. What we wanted and what we want a new one.
We want Dragon Lane. We want Dragon Lane with new build. Got the swimming pool already there. And the other things, we have enough room to add what we need. You're not going to stuff us somewhere and say, take this. That's not going to happen. We want Dragon Lane. You got enough over there. It's your old alma mater, right? Right, Harrison?
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we want. And it's right across the street from the old Y. You moving 50 yards, 50 feet. That's all, 50 feet. We're on that. And I hope everybody, all the people are with us on this. And that's what we have to do, is agree, like Councilman just said, and move on. We have to move on this really fast, else we'll lose the money. And we're not giving $9.5 million back, and they can do $9.5 million worth of work to give us what we want. Walt promised it. He said, we vote. He gonna give this to them. They voted, and we're gonna get it.
Miss Minor, they going to the bank. They going to New York to see about getting the rest of the money. Not only just for the bond. They going to get money for the Maccabee Center and some other projects too. So that money, that just part of the money that they want to make sure they include it in this loan. That's all it is a loan, and it'll be there. So
Raven said, excuse me, Raven said on TV after the meeting, on the VUA, we already got the money in the bank. Okay, if you got the money in the bank, boy, let's build a $9.5 million building nonstop. Let's do it.
It might it might be already in the bank, but I can tell you, Bugs ain't finna let you just spend. Look, they'd rather go borrow money first than to spend what's in the bank. I'm gonna just tell you, that's how they do business sometimes.
Well, that's on them.
Mm-hmm. But listen, great conversation. It is almost, it's after my hours. It's 10:30. Councilman said he got to go home. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk.
I snuck me today because my clock didn't even tell me what time it was.
We're gonna talk again on Tuesday. Now I start baseball practice on Tuesday, so I might be a few minutes late, Mike. I'm letting you know now. So I got to get the kids ready because I always got the best team, ain't that, Miss Minor?
They're cheating me. I ain't lose for 2 games. It's my first time doing it. You ain't do nothing. But we need some people at that pre-council meeting too.
We do. I'm gonna still try to make that, but I got to get my team together too.
All right, Dragon Lane, people. Let's go with that. Dragon Lane, right there across the street. We new building, new fields, new everything. $9.5 million is what we want. All right, good night, y'all.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right. Good night, y'all. Councilman, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing this information. As you can see, when you get the people involved, then we can make some things. It just can't be about what one person want or certain people want, I or he or she. I think any other time it's always been a town hall meeting for to at least give the people opportunity to talk on or know or learn what's to come.
Well, first, thank you for having me here. You and the co-host, and thank the callers. And especially want to thank Councilman Lanier for coming in. He didn't have to do it, but I know he loved this city and loved West Tuscaloosa. Every time I announce myself, I said Tuscaloosa West End. Let them know, make sure I'm from West End. But we got to stay together and work. 2 things we're going to do: location and make sure Tuscaloosa be a part of this building.
That's very important.
And that's very important. That's money back in our community.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Hey, we'll see everybody on Tuesday. Like I said, getting the baseball league. If you got kids from 4 years old all the way up to 12 years old, please sign them up for baseball at the Benjamin Barnes Branch YMCA. Northport has baseball also, so you can join. They're going to join in, hopefully, and play with us and against us in Paris. So please join. Get your kids involved. Boys and girls are welcome. Boys and girls are welcome. The league is still signing up. I think I'll be coaching the 9 and 10-year-olds. So please sign your kids up this week. I don't think it's too late to get them on board. So let's get our kids involved in this baseball. And we do need some men and women. I'm not just going to say women can't make great coaches, but we need coaches. So you can sign up to be a coach as a parent, or you can be a coach as a individual. So let's help the kids in that way too. And that's one way of getting them off the streets or in bringing them up. Like I said, I coached baseball for over 10 years. And out of all the boys and girls that I played with, They still have much respect. Some flew away. Some, very few, went the other direction. But many are making a great contribution to our community and other communities throughout this country. So I want to thank him. I want to thank all of you all. If you want to be a coach, just come on out to the McDonald Hughes Center or contact the Benjamin Barnesback YMCA, and we'll make sure we can get you a team here for baseball. That's it for tonight. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all next week. They just want to